Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first J-BASH All-Stars match of the 2023 season. This is a return to the old style of the J-BASH, when we have the franchise teams, the Pandas and the Pelicans, taking each other on today. My name's Alan Kerr, Head of Cricket Operations at the Japan Cricket Association, and I'll be talking you through today's match. Here on my own today, I'm afraid, so you'll just have to put up with me for the time being. Umpires are out in the middle. The Pelicans won the toss and chose to field first. So all being well, we will be underway in a couple of minutes' time. Umpires got everyone out there a bit early. Makes for a pleasant change. Looks like we've got Akari Nishimura ready to open the batting. Now it looks like Kurumi Ota with the ball in hand. Can't quite see who the striker is. Yeah, that is Akari Nishimura. And it looks like Erika Oda at the other end. So the same opening partnership for the Japan women's national team. And Kurumi Ota to bowl the first ball. It's a little wide, that'll be called. So this will be acting as useful match practice for the women's players as they prepare for the Women's East Asia Cup, which is due to start in just a few days' time. The girls will fly out on Wednesday afternoon. Matches starting on Tuesday. Tuesday? Wait, matches starting on Thursday. Japan, Hong Kong and China all taking each other on. Should be a good contest. The Japan women's players don't get too many opportunities to play on the turf pitch, so a big change in the All-Stars structure for this year was to have the turf square ready. Same one that was used during the Futures League, I believe, a few weeks ago. They will, of course, be playing on the brand new ground at Hangzhou, which is where the Asian Games will be held. And that is driven nicely, and that's going to go for 4. Beat the fielder, and that's the first runs off the bat. A nice shot, driven sweetly through mid-off, just timed really, ran away. It's got a long boundary that the girls are playing to today. Nishimura just lent into that. Akari Nishimura, of course, previously Akari Kano, if you were wondering. Got married in the winter. She'll be keeping wicket in the second innings, I'm sure. So a good start for the Pandas, having been put into bat. No need to take too many risks, but the coaches, I'm sure, will be in their ears. We have the Japan women's team head coach and assistant head coach taking charge today. Bebe Miyagi in charge of the bowling side, the Pelicans, whilst Dino Ruhode looks after the side batting first, the Pandas. That's just drifted down leg side, but Nishimura got a bit of glove on that, so missed out on the wide. Kurumi Ota, of course, making a return to the women's setup, having spent a couple of years out of the side. Her work got pretty busy around sort of the 2015-16 mark, and she was unable to carry on in the national squad. But has returned this year after a 6-year break, so still, as you can see, just trying to find that rhythm. At her peak was an outstanding bowler, came fairly close to a rookie contract in one of the major overseas leagues. We had one of the coaches from Australia looking at her and thinking she had plenty of talent, plenty of ability, but never quite worked out, unfortunately. If she can get back to her best, she will certainly be an asset to the Japan women's team. Tempting Nishimura. She's not quite getting her line right. Looks like the ball's swinging a fair bit and perhaps just struggling to control that new white ball. paddled around the corner, but the fielder's in the circle. Ooh. Sent back by Erika Oda. Nishimura taking her life in her hands there a little bit. And that's the end of the over. Looks like Kyo Fujikawa is going to open up from the mountain end. Kyo, local girl, coming through the Sano cricket system, playing in the Cricket Blast program when I arrived 10 years ago. Made her international debut last October, I believe. And she should be one who enjoys playing on the turf. Get a bit more purchase than she would usually. Floats one up. Looking to tempt Erika Oda, who is generally sent out with the instructions to hit hard in the opening overs, take advantage of the power play. Bit tentative to begin with. Is Erika? Just to mention that today also marks the start of the JCL T10. First matches of that taking place on ground 2. And we'll have some of those games on ground 1 in the afternoon. Something to look forward to. So a single there for Oda. Punched out into the offside. For those who don't know, the J-BASH is the top of the J-BASH system. We have a J-BASH Social for people who are first playing the game. We have a J-BASH Challenge League for people being introduced to hardball for the first time. And then the J-BASH All-Stars for those looking to excel, looking to take their game to a higher level and try to represent Japan. Most of the players out here today have either represented Japan already or are hoping to do so in the near future. Added to that, of course, later on in the year we will have the Women's Japan Premier League, which will involve some overseas players, which will be announced in due course, but definitely something to look forward to over the long weekend in July. And that's aerial. It's taken. The catch is held. So, first wicket to fall, looking to go big in the offside. Sorry, on the leg side. Heaved away, trying to be aggressive in that power play. As Nishimura has hit it straight down the fielder's throat. Cross bat shot. Ball was in the air a long time and well held. Just have to get confirmation for you on who the catcher was. Quite far away from me down here. That was Haruna Iwasaki taking the catch. So, one of Nishimura's Sendai teammates snaffling the catch. Deep mid wicket. The decision to open the bowling with the spinner has paid off. Now Ahilia Chandel will come to the crease next. Ahilia only flew in a couple of days ago from Sydney. That's where she resides. She definitely did make her debut against Hong Kong in the East Asia Cup back in the last year. She will be at the non-striker's end. A good over that to start with from Kyo Fujikawa. Just a single from it. And the breakthrough. Ayaka Canada has the ball in hand now, it looks like. One of Japan's quickest bowlers in the women's setup. She'll run in hard. Had some issues at the end of last year just with her control, so it'll be interesting to see if she's managed to get that back. Lost her place in the women's squad this year. Certainly will be keen to show the selectors that she's recovering her best form. Looks like she's got a fielder down at third man and a sweeper on the offside. There's the two fielders out. In she comes. And that's placed into the gap by Erika Oda and a scampered single. So, it's the second run for Erika Oda. The throw came back and hit the stumps, so a good bit of fielding. And Ahilia Chandel will face up for the first time. Left-hander with both bat and ball. That will almost certainly test the discipline of Ayaka Canada. Just having a look at the changes in the field. Just waiting to get this set. Few conversations going on. Minami Yoshioka keeping wicket. Looks like it's going to be two fielders behind the wicket who are outside the circle. Took a bit of time to get that right, but they've crowded the offside. And to cut off any options there, so Canada will be tested to bowl outside that off-stump line. What she goes for first up, but just misses a line. And there you go, first wide called. Not by much, but a wide it is. Takes the score into double figures. Beautiful day at the SICG. Word of welcome to all our viewers from around the world, wherever you are watching. Whether you're in Japan, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, England, if you're up really late or really early. And of course, all of those through the Fan Code app in the Indian subcontinent. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Broadcasting our first women's game of the new season. As mentioned, the girls don't get much of an opportunity to play on the turf wicket, so it'll be a new challenge for them. Even the internationals they played at the back end of last season were on the synthetic down at Kaisuka. Anyone who watched those games should be familiar with a fair few of these players. Ahilia Chandel was a standout player in that series, as was Erika Oda and Karine Nishimura, we've seen with the bat so far. Plenty of new talent on display today as well. And that's called wide again. She's lost a line down the leg side this time. Chandel looked to paddle it around the corner. Just wasn't quite able to get bat on that one. If you are watching, feel free to hit the subscribe button and put some comments in the YouTube comments box, and I will endeavour to answer any questions that you may have. Makes me feel like I'm talking to someone. It's a lonely business being in the commentary box on your own. But when there's a good game of cricket on and the weather's nice, it's the worst places to be. Plenty of cricket on in Japan recently, of course. Japan Futures League at the end of April, the Japan Premier League the weekend after, and then a 5-match series against the Sri Lankan Emerging 11. I hope all of our viewers have enjoyed that coverage. And this is the last and the end of a busy spell. After this, it will return to, well, I mean, this is domestic cricket, I suppose, but the more standard cricket that we produce. I think the next big event will be the Japan Women's Premier League, so do keep an eye out for information on that. Well, when she gets it right, Aika Canada, it's going to be difficult to get away. Chandel swing and a miss. Just one run from the bat in that over. The Japan women's squad were up in Sano yesterday, training, getting themselves ready for the departure for the East Asia Cup in China. Everyone's very excited about that. A couple of players in line to make their debuts, and I shall mention them when we see them. First time the Japan women's team have toured since 2019, of course, so long time coming. Definitely something to be excited about. Not sure yet if that will be streamed, but certainly all the scores can be followed on the Japan Cricket app, so if you don't have that, do make sure you get hold of it. Likewise, follow our accounts on social media. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're on all of them. Kyo Fujikawa continuing, starts with another dot. Just losing her line a bit. It's first wide she's bowled. Of course, the retirement from international cricket of Shizuka Miyagi has left the #1 spinner role open in the women's team. Kyo Fujikawa will be one of the players looking to take that spot. That's cut away into the offside. Just be a single, I suspect. Throw comes in, just the one. So left-hander on strike. So Fujikawa taking the ball away. Be a different challenge to what Chandel was facing in the previous over. Getting the field right again. Of course, the J-BASH in previous years has been played down at the Nagasawa ground, which is a rectangle. So a different experience for the J-BASH team to be back playing on the full oval. One of the requests that was made by the coaching staff. Now that's high in the air. That may well get called as a no ball. The catch is put down. But I think the call will come. Will it? Maybe it won't. So that's a chance shelled. Mai Yanagida, the captain, who's dropped that one. Aggression from Chandel, but pretty much went straight up in the air. And one of those catches probably needs to be taken. Fujikawa will take that as a win, though. It shows that the batters aren't quite in control of their shots. She's keen to get through her overs quickly. Scurries back to top of the mark. That's hit away. Boundary rider cuts it off, just one. So end of 4 overs, 16 for 1. Oda and Chandel at the crease. Pretty familiar looking top three, isn't it? It's very much the top three batters of the Japan women's team. So strength at the top of the order for the Pandas. Canada will continue. Oda on strike. Driven but not middled. Sweeper still out on the offside and third man, the other player out. Canada hitting the spot straight away in that over in the first delivery. And that is hit round the corner. There'll be runs there. That might go to the boundary. Fielder's after it. Just going to pull that up. So, 2 for Oda. Kyo Fujikawa down at fine leg. Scurries after it. Canada travels a long way to come up to the Sano International Cricket Ground to play her cricket. Lives down in Aichi, which is where the Asian Games will be hosted in a few years' time. That's into leg side again. More runs. Not sure that'll go to the boundary. Should 2 fielders after it. Should just pull up short. Looks like they'll come back for a third, so that's a good bit of running. And again, hit away. Coming back for a couple. Chandel this time. Just looking over at the T10 taking place on ground 2. Kawasaki Knight Riders are off to a flyer. Shubham Shukla is 38 off 14 deliveries. So he's really getting into the spirit of the T10. Started the third over with 6-6-6 against poor Mario Salvin Joseph. And that's tapped into the leg side this time. Just beats the fielder, so they get through for 1. Give you an idea in that game. They're 41 for none, and Navin Gore is 1 not out of 2 balls. So Shukla certainly dominating that partnership. Returning from a pretty serious injury as well, Shubham. Good to have him back. But over here, 5 overs gone. The Pandas 24 for 1, so ticking over relatively nicely. Only the one shot really that's gone aerial. Well, 2 actually, if you think about the one that Chandel got away with. That brought the demise of Akari Nishimura. Looks like Kyo Fujikawa is going to continue, bowling 3 overs on the trot in the power play. It's a big ask against the spinner, but she's gone well so far. That one is paddled around the corner. Fielder doesn't quite get down to it, and they will come back for a second. So just starting to milk the bowling now, as well as taking what they can from any extras. Krimiota just bowled the 1 over. So we look down the team list. It's the last over of the power play. Just looking at the bowling options that the Pelicans have. Plenty of them. Driven that time. And a single taken. Maya Nagida will likely bowl herself at some point. Ayumi Fujikawa may have a bowl. Yukino Nakayama took 5 for in the men's game not so long ago. And Meg Ogawa, all likely to have a bowl at some stage. Yanagida doesn't like to bowl in the power play, very rarely see that. But certainly likely to get a few overs in today. Oh, look at that. She's gone high and over the top of long on. And that will go to the boundary. She's clearly touched the rope there. Wonder if that will be signalled. Should be. Umpire's just checking, and 4 is given. Akshay got off out there umpiring for the first time in Japan. Experienced cricketer, of course. You may have seen him coaching the South Kanto Super Kings during the JPL. He's likely to get a game this afternoon as well. So our first boundary, that one, for Erika Oda. Just the last over of the power play, wanting to take advantage of the fielders being up. Deep mid-wicket and deep cover, the 2 out. No one back straight, even after that shot. And gone again hard. She'll pick out the fielder that time, just a single. Didn't get that quite as straight as she would have wanted. But Erika Oda starting to warm up now. She's 14 off 16 deliveries. Chandal 7 off 10. 1 ball to go in this power play. And that's just held up. Blocked by Chandal. Could have just popped up off the bat, but no one in close. So 32 for 1 at the end of the first 6 overs. Pretty solid power play for the Pandas. I think they'll be quite happy with that. Hard to know what a good score is on this pitch for the women's team. I would suspect anything into 3 figures will be difficult to chase. We certainly saw that in the men's games. As mentioned, this Pandas side full of strong batters. It will be interesting to see how Pelicans manage in the chase. Looks like we're going to have a change of bowling. From here, I reckon that's Yukino Nakayama. It is. Still with a cap on. Don't see that too often. She'll be charging in at Erika Oda, of course. Yukino Nakayama named in the women's squad for the East Asia Cup, which will be her, if she gets a game, be her international debut. Still pretty new to the game. Only came into the women's squad last year. As I mentioned, took a 5 for playing for, I think, KO University in the men's game. Slightly wobbly run up. Onto leg stump, single taken. Just tucked around the corner. Changes in the field again. Two boundary rides on the leg side, very close together at mid-wicket and square leg. That's down leg side and called. Nakayama readying herself again. It's a strange little kink in her run-up that she perhaps needs to work on. Very eager to get off the pitch though once she delivers. All these players, of course, will be used to playing not just on synthetic pitches but also on flicks pitches, which get used a lot for women's cricket. Most of the club games are played at the Nagasawa ground, which is a flicks pitch. It almost looks like she's trying to step around something as she runs in, Yukino Nakayama. Something for the coaches to work on, perhaps getting a smooth run up. Batters are able to rotate the strike. 3 out, as mentioned, 2 on the leg side, 1 on the off. The leg side fielders distinctly close together. Just picked out the fielder in the circle there, Chandal. Looking to be aggressive. To the fielder again. Hard to judge the pace on this pitch. Batter's just trying to get to grips with it. 36 for 1, so after 4 in the first 3 balls, over finishes with 3 dots. So Nakayama getting out of the over well. 7 overs gone, 36 on the board. Just to check out that game in the T10. Shubham Shukla has brought up an 18-ball half-century. Still going, 58 off 20. 19 balls, sorry. 19-ball half-century. Shubham Shukla. I'm hearing reports of a lost ball over there as well in the 3rd over. Hit one into the river. Sending him an invoice later. Dangerous player when he gets going. As is Erika Oda, back on strike now. Going to be a change of bowling again. Spin remains though from the far end. Maya Yanagida. And that's hit to point and a single taken straight away. So again, a left-right hand combination. Rotating the strike, making life a bit difficult. Not just for the fielders and the bowlers, for the umpires as well. Doing a good job trying to cross over each time. Vikram Raghunathan, the other umpire. The stalwart of the Japan cricket scene. Yanagida, of course, has moved to Sydney, to Melbourne. She moved about 2 days after the East Asia Cup finished in October. And she has left her job at Hitachi, where she worked for the best part of 10 years, and is now training to be an English teacher. She's doing that in Melbourne and may well end up staying in Australia if she can. She certainly likes it out there. She's been playing with the winter cricket. 50s in both of her last 2 matches, she was telling me this morning, so she's going pretty well with the bat. Chandal's got hold of one of her deliveries with the ball. Just a single in the end. So well done by the fielder. Pick up and throw. Looks like Ayaka Canada down there. She's got a good arm. Yanagida in again. Erika Oda just swings that into the offside, into the leg side, sorry. Boundary rider picks it up. 4 out now. Slightly different field for the left-hander. 3 out, 2 leg side, 1 offside. Umpire scurries across once again. Yeah, and that left-right hand combination playing havoc with the bowler's lines. First wide of the over. Been a decent over up until that point. Chandal's missed out there. Just a single. But full toss that perhaps should have been put away. 41 for 1 from 8 overs. Pandas pretty well placed here to get a score north of 100. Suspect that will be the goal. Runs on the board, of course. Always important in any form of cricket. Akiyama's going to continue, taking the cap off now. In she comes again to Chandal. And there's a fielder pretty close in on the leg side, just at a short mid-wicket. Been very much in the action. I'll work out who that is down there. I'm quite far away in my commentary box, so forgive me for not being able to pluck the names out straight away. Haruna Iwasaki fielding in close. Now, that's the position that she had during the East Asia Cup, and she picked up an injury in the first game, fielding a ball close in. Ruled her out for the last 3 games of the tournament, so good on her, being willing to go straight back in there again. Ooh, kept low that one, but no run. Ooh, just turned around the corner. No one down there, so they might even be able to get back for 2 if they're aggressive. Shows a safe option. Would have liked to see them be a bit more aggressive on that. Well, it's a good bit of running from Oda that time, having taken the safe option the ball before. She's gone charging down to get herself back on strike. The partnership coming along now for these two. Pelicans will be trying to work out how they can get a breakthrough. Erica Oda 19 from 22. Flicked into the leg side again, just single that time. She's got a bit more bat on it. Kyo Fujikawa brings that in. Just to check in on KKR against Alpha Quashes in the T10. Shubham Shukla is now 76 from 27 deliveries. KKR 90 for 1 and 6.2 overs. I think I just saw another 6 get hit over there, so no sign of anyone slowing down. Another opening partnership. Pretty healthy before Naveen Gore was dismissed by Nihar Palmer. I reckon that's 6 more I've just seen. So definitely not slowing down. The Alpha Quash is not quite having a day of it, it seems. Shukla in his 7th over has gone 6-4, 6-6. So he's now 88 off 29 deliveries. 2 balls left in this over. Right, Megogawa's into the attack. She'll bowl Erica Oda. And that's just driven back to her. Shukla has gone again. That is another 6. He's 94, I reckon. Absolute massacre going on down there on ground 2. And that is a high full toss. That has gone all the way over the ropes. 6 runs called and a no ball called. So, big boost for the Pandas. Megogawa just losing that one. And that's directed at the fielder. The free hit yields a dot. So a good comeback. Shubham Shukla 94 from 30 deliveries. Looks like another lost ball. That's aerial, but 1 bounce to the fielder on the rope. So yes, an over from Ranil Wickramasinghe has so far yielded 28 from 5 deliveries. I think they may have rediscovered the ball. A little break in play. Wonder if they'll allow Shukla to refocus as he tries to reach that 100. And that's a wide delivery called by the umpires. Oh, it looks like he has. He has put that over the fence. He's got 131 deliveries, Shubham Shukla. Extraordinary stuff on the opening match of the JCL T10. That is quite amazing. 31 deliveries. He's taken 34 off and over to bring up that 100 in style. Goodness, goodness me. Somewhat distracting from the action here, I know, so I will come back to that. Pandas 55 for 1. Meg Ogawa just struggling to land it at the moment. Well, that was better. Plenty of encouragement. Just dying off the pitch. Very nearly a double bouncing Yorker. I think she just about got away with it. Driven into the offside. Just a single. Bit of a misfield, but still just one run. And that'll wrap up that over. 57 at the halfway mark, just one wicket down for the Pandas. Looking pretty set for a good total here. $11 from that over, help them on the way. As mentioned, I think anything over 100 will be a challenge. Erica Order now 28 from 29. Chandel 13 from 23. Just looking down the order, who we can expect to come in for the Pandas. Probably the bulk of the hitters are in now, but Ruan Kanai, Hinase Goto, I suspect will be padded up, ready to go. Nakayama continues. That will be another wide. Just conceded 8 from her 2 overs so far, Nakayama, so a fair few of those have been in extras as well, so she's doing okay when she gets it right. And that is a good shot. She's gone up and over this time, Order. That'll be 2 bounces and over the rope for 4. Over mid-on. Clean strike. She can be pretty pleased with that. So we watch the replay. Order just dragging it from wide outside off stump. Got the eye, got the power, got the reward. How does Nakayama respond? Well, on the money and blocked. Balls come in quite a lot. Does look like she rolls the fingers over the ball a little bit as she delivers. Feel free, as I mentioned, to stick some comments in the YouTube comments box. I'll endeavour to answer any questions. And give us a follow on social media at Japan Cricket, Instagram, Twitter. And that's driven. That's going to beat the fielder again. A couple of bounces and 4 more. So Erica Order's starting to motor now. When she gets going, she can be a handful. It's cleanly struck. through mid-off this time. Not much pace on the bowl. Or they're able to swing those arms. More extra cover really than mid-off. I'm watching the replay. So Nakayama's conceded double the runs that she had in the previous 2 overs now. Another wide. So under a bit of pressure. With that pressure, leads to a wide. And that's driven, or cut really, off the front foot. Boundary rider picks it up on the offside, just one. Chandel will get a chance to face one delivery in this over. Now it's paddled round the corner. That might run away for 4, you know. Fielders are after it. Just enough bat on that. Despairing dive. But a rare boundary for Hilya Chandel, and that makes this a really good over for the Pandas. 14, 15 from it, I reckon. Again, that left-right hand combination just causing problem for the bowler. Chandel not missing out that time. .72 for 1 after 11 overs. Kurumi Ota is going to return to the attack. Shubham Shukla is still going over on ground 2. 108 from 37 deliveries. Feels like he slowed down. Strike rate of just 291.89. Change of ends for Kurumi Ota. She struggled with the line a little bit in that opening spell, but she's got 3 overs left. Still 9 to be bowled in this innings. Looking to get the field right. 4 out. And that is driven well. Fielder will look to cut that off. Does so. Immediate change for the left-hander. Looks like the fielders were straight. Will come up into the circle. So just 2 out now, it looks like. Sweepers on either side of the wicket. Ota will come around the wicket to the left-hander. Driven, and having the fielder up has paid off. It's a dot ball. Erika Oda now's 38 off 35. Chandel 17 off 25. Ooh, that's a good delivery. Going straight through her. Ooh, not too far away from the top of off stump, that one. Far too close to be cutting. Maybe Chandel has a little word with herself. Oh, tried to whack that over mid-on, but straight into the ground. So a good little battle, this. Experienced campaigner against the rising star of the Japan women's team. And that's nicely played. Just bat on ball, pushed out into the leg side. Easy single. End of the over. 74 for 1, 12 overs gone, 8 more to go. Fair few gifts for the Pandas. They've had 13 wides bowled so far. None of the bowlers have been guilt-free in that regard. That was a good comeback though from Kurumi Ota, just 2 runs from that over after an expensive first one. We seam at both ends now as Canada returns to the attack. First time we've had seam at both ends. That one's gone straight through the wicketkeeper. Fine leg's got some work to do. Cuts it off. Let's see what gets signalled. Well, he seems to be signalling byes and wides, the umpire there. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. Got himself a bit confused. Signalling byes and wides. So let's see what that gets recorded as. They do have radios, so I'm sure the scorer will be clarifying. Well, not sure if that was deliberately played, but there's certainly no fielder down there, so it's as good a place as any to score your boundaries. Chandel just guiding it through probably where second slip would be. Looks like a pretty good shot, I reckon. Give her the credit. Kawasaki Knight Riders finishing 148 for 3. Shubham got dismissed off the final ball of the innings. 109 off 39 deliveries. Just to clarify, that previous delivery was marked as 3 wides. And that one's just clubbed back at the bowler. Chandel into the 20s now, 22 from 31. And that's another wide from Ayaka Canada. And that's guided again. That's a really good shot. That will go for 4. Wide of third man. Really well played from Chandel. So turning into another good over, this one. 12 from it so far. Just the 3 legal deliveries. Okay, Canada just struggling a little. Oh, well. It's going to be another wide. Keeper's having a hard time of it. They'll scamper through for double the extras. And wide again. And just play it into that vacant gully region again, another single. So Pandas now will be looking at a score probably closer to 150 at this rate. Certainly if these two stay in for too much longer. Partnership is really match defining at this rate. These two came together when the score was just... What was the score? Score was just 8, so a handy partnership for sure. Well into the 80s now. Valuable time in the middle for these two batters. Ota to continue. Kurumi Ota resuming her battle with Ahilia Chandel. Just needs to get that line right. They're running pretty well, these two now. Their understanding's got together pretty well. Of course, a good communication between a batting pair is so important in any form of cricket, but particularly in T20. Runs matter, and being able to take singles to fielders in the circle. Certainly valuable. Of course, all these players know each other pretty well. And that is uppish, but just in the gap. Oldham perhaps getting away with one there. But yeah, they'll know who the best fielders are and who they can perhaps take advantage of when looking to run those quick singles. Erica Older, of course, no stranger to playing cricket overseas as well. Twice spent winters in New Zealand and spent a bit of time in England last year too. So playing on the turf wickets for these two players, not so unusual. Perhaps explains why they've been able to adjust better than, well, just adjust well. I guess the others might still see them adjust well too, but it is a different challenge, of course, playing on the turf and playing on the synthetic. Kurumi Ota in again. That's into the close fielder. Oh, there might have been a bit of under edge on that, perhaps. It's not quite going to run to the boundary. Possible it came off the keeper. Oh, yeah, a little bit of under edge. Just directed it away from the goalkeeper, the wicket keeper. Plenty of activity at the SICG today. Local kids football groups in playing, and of course the T10 on ground 2. Chandel just turns that one around the corner into the leg side. Worth another couple of runs. As the score edges towards 100. The partnership now ticks over to 90. Haven't really needed a lot of big shots. Been a couple. Erica Oda's gone over the top a couple of times, but for the most part, it's been fairly sensible batting. Hit the ball in the gaps. Good calling, good running, put the fielders under pressure. And the bowling perhaps lacked a little bit of discipline. That's to be expected. Some of these players may well be their first game of the season. We have had one round of Women's League matches. But most of the bowling would have been done in the nets so far. Japan Women's season, of course. 6 teams in the Women's League this year. Japan Women's Cricket League. Just one up on last year. They'll play 7 matches over the course of a league campaign. The top 4 qualifying for finals. Sendai University defending champions after winning it in their first year. 8 from that over from Otta. A couple of wides, 6 off the bat. It looks like Kyo Fujikawa is going to bowl her final over. Went pretty well in the power play, but it's going to be a different thing now bowling to 2 set players. They were fairly circumspect against her. Just got after her a little bit in the final over she bowled. Just looking at the field for the off spinner. Long on, long off. Both back. Deep square leg. And the sweeper on the offside. So 4 out. Starts with a wide. Earlier Chandal's 32 of 38. Erica Otter's on strike. She's 40 of 38 deliveries. That one was a bit better. So knowing Erica Otter, she may well be eyeing up that extra cover region. Or if she gets any width, there's the gully point region. Oh, she's looks to go leg side that time. Didn't quite get enough on it. Just hit it into the ground. Lost all the power from the shot. Down the track. And that is hit upwards, but not really in any danger. Dropped short of the fielder. Just a single. So Chandal's back on strike. Fujikawa's going to stay over the wicket by the looks of things. Oh no, she's going to switch and come around. Sensible move. Changes in the field. Long off comes up into the circle. Still sweepers out on both sides. And long on stays out. So just 3 out for the left-hander. And she will called into action straight away. Hits the stumps, the fielder at long on. No danger of a run out. We've got Oda back on strike. And that is the extra cover region we were talking about. Picked up and thrown in. Just a single. The 100 brought up with a wide of the first ball of the over. Partnership now worth 95. Oh, that's a high full toss. This time Chandal gets over the top of it. Looks like she's got away with it again, you know. Oh, she has. That's 2 she's got away with, I reckon. Kyo Fujikawa. That's the end of her spell. 4 overs, 1 for 19. Very respectable. And at the 15 over mark, the Pandas 104 for 1. So, change of bowling. Ayumi Fujikawa. No relation to Kyo, who we just saw bowling at the other end. Hails from the Kansai region, made her debut in the East Asia Cup last year. Did okay with both bat and ball. Picked up a wicket with her first ball, I think, in international cricket. Charge, we're trying to break this partnership now. Starting off bowling at Hillier Chandel. Just losing the line to the left-hander, just down leg side. Chandel lets someone go, so she picks up the extra. Floaty outside off stump. Wide on the other side. Run rate up towards 7 and over, so a score of around 140, 150, very much possible. I think at this stage in the innings, the two batters are in a position where they can really start taking a few more risks. They may well be both eyeing up half centuries, but getting the team to the highest score they can will, I'm sure, be the priority. Just 3 out for Fujikawa to Chandel. Hasn't rained boundaries at Hillier Chandel, but has placed the ball pretty well throughout the innings. To be fair, she's hit as many boundaries as Erika Oda has. Erika does have the 1-6 to her name as well, though. 3 fours each. And that's just pushed into the leg side for a single. And that brings up the 100 partnership for these two. Scored it better than the runner ball. We're pretty happy with the way they've gone. That one's on the money from Fujikawa. Full enough, straight. Cut and well fielded. We've still got through for the single, but Kumi Ota saved the possible boundary there. Sharp bit of fielding. Good to have you with us wherever you're watching from. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you're on YouTube, or follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook if you're active on any of those platforms at Japan Cricket. Keep track of all that's going on in the game over here. There's a lot happening. One for one. It's about as Nelson as it gets. Last ball of the 16th over coming up now. Ayumi Fujikawa. Erika Oda just dead bats that into the leg side. Well, maybe there's another ball to come. Yeah, that certainly looks like a 7-ball over. And the umpires realise just in time, I think. They've stopped her in their run-up. Having some conversations. And they're going to let the ball anyway. Not quite sure what's happening out there. discussions ongoing. Not doing much for the speed of the game, this. They have the radios, the umpires. They're having a chat with the scorers, trying to clarify, I suspect. Makes me think I should have a radio up here myself to let them know. Very clearly, all balls have been bowled in this over. And they have eventually realised. Three wides in the over, of course, makes it a bit tricky to count to 6. Akshay Kodoth got there in the end. Looks like we've got another new bowler. Seika Sumi's going to have a bowl. Another of the Sendai clan. Another who's been named in the East Asia Cup squad. More for her batting than her bowling, I think. But interesting to have a look at her here. Another bowling in a cap. Pretty warm out there. Sun's come out. Clouds are dispersing. Due to get up to high 20s today. Should be dry for the whole day, which is good. Sumi now to Erika Oda. Captains are taking a while to change their fields. Still only 4 out. All game long, just been 4 out. That is up and over. And that will run away. Just goes for 4. Fielder makes a bit of a mess of that on the boundary rope. Another boundary for Erika Oda, first in a while. She moves to 47 from 46 deliveries, so now very much within range of that half century. Perhaps a little surprising that Sekasumi is having a bowl, but I guess the coach feels he wants to have a look at all his options. Sumi, the 8th bowler in the innings. Maya Nagita has just given herself 1 over. Went for just 5 runs, seemed to bowl okay. Wonder if she's going to bowl herself at the death. Order now. Back on strike. 3.5 overs to go. Ooh. Well, that one kept a bit low. End of the over, 7 from it. 118 for 1, 3 overs to go. 140 still possible. Erika Oda, 48 not out from 49 deliveries. Hilya Chandal, 37 not out from 45 deliveries. Yanagida does bring herself back into the attack. I guess she'll bowl over number 18 and 20. Just losing a run up on the first ball. Yanagida bowls to Chandal. And they take a pretty risky run, and Megalgawa just slipped. She tried to return the ball. Chandal loses a bat. So Oda back on strike, looking for that half century. The mid-on, mid-off both drop back straight away. Extra cover is out there, as is deep mid-wicket. Oda picks out Orgara in the circle again, who's midfielded it twice, but at no cost. Meg Orgara, one of the unlucky ones to miss out on the East Asia Cup this time round. Her and Ayaka Canada, the two players played in the tournament last time, missed out this time around, replaced by Yukino Nakayama and Elena Nairn, Kasuda Nairn, I should say, who we'll see a little bit later on today. Most likely with the ball. Doesn't look like she's going to get a bat now. That's going to be called a no ball. So looks like Chandel will get the benefit of the free hit. Erika Oda just swatted it into the leg side, into the offside, sorry. Picked up by the boundary rider. So a new batter for the free hit. So the fielder can change. And just punch down the ground for another single to long on. Order back on strike. Just one away now. Half century for the Pandas. Now it's driven, and that'll be it. 50 runs for Erika Oda, brought up from 52 deliveries. Not sure she knows. Not sure her teammates know. I know. Well done, Erika. Well batted. Ilya Chandal back on strike. Paddled around the corner. Fielder will have to work to cut that off. They may well come back for two. Chandal was a little bit slow getting started there, having pivoted all the way around. And she couldn't quite get back for the second run. Last ball of the over. "13 balls to go in this innings. No run. So, just the second dot ball of the over. 125 for 1. 2 overs to go. Pandas still eyeing up that 140 mark. Very much on target to hit that. Hit firmly into the leg side. Picked off by the fielder. Just a single. Well, looks like Erica Otter's half century is being applauded now. I think everyone's just a run behind, but good that they got there in the end. Ayumi Fujikawa putting the ball on the spot. Singles coming. Staving off any boundaries. It's going to be a challenge for the Pelicans to chase these down. Plenty of aggressive hitters in their lineup. Haruno Iwasaki we've seen in the field. Seikasumi we've seen have a bowl. Both very capable strikers of the ball. Mai Yanagida, of course, the experienced hand. Likely bat at the top of the order. Ooh, she just left that one alone, Erica Otter. 8 balls to go in the innings. Shouldered arms. I think the Pelicans will probably be... They shouldn't be too disappointed with how they've done. Boundary. Swung round the corner on the leg side. So you just drop a bit short. These two players have batted pretty well. They haven't given too many opportunities. We've seen the one drop catch early on. Skipper putting down Hillier Chandel. And that could make a big difference because depth in the batting we're not too sure of, really. Inase Goto would likely have been in next. Ruan Kanai as well, an option. Unlikely now that we'll see those two. Just one over to go. That boundary for the last ball of the over, just hurting that. That over would have been a good over otherwise. Keeps them on track for that 140. Chandel 8 short of her own half century. Erica Otter 55 now from 57. Looks like Kurumi Otter will bowl the final over. And Hillier Chandel will be looking for boundary options. Bit of a surprise that Mai Yanagida's just bowled her 2 overs. I might have had Kurumi Otter bowling that previous over. Yanagida bowling again now. I mean, I would have bowled Yanagida out in the middle, but given where we were 4 overs ago, that's probably what I would have done. Let's see, can Kurumi Otter get a wicket for herself and just try and limit the damage in this final over? Chandel goes over the top. Looks like they'll only get a single though. Aggressive hit, but didn't quite have the power and the timing to get it to the boundary. That's what she was after. Boundary there would have put her in a great position to make her own half century. As it is, she's 43 not out. But yeah, there's been a lack of discipline in some of the bowling. Certainly too many extras, I'm sure. They'll be conscious of that. 29 wides is a lot. A lot of those have been wides, which were also run, so that shouldn't be too harsh on them. But those extras do add up. A score of closer to 100 might have been more manageable. Likely that we'll see some extras given up in the next innings as well, of course. We'll see if they even out. Otter wraps Oda on the pads, but nothing doing from the umpire and no runs taken. 4 balls to go. They've actually managed to make up time okay. Perhaps starting this over about a minute or 2 down. T10 over on ground 2 has been little behind as well, perhaps largely due to all the lost balls. And that is up, and the keeper will take it. So, a wicket does fall at last. We will get to see who bats at 4 for the Pandas. Erika Oda just just not timed it really. Tried to flay that over extra cover. Top edge. It's a bit wide really, and it's just been taken by the wicketkeeper. So Minami Yoshioka gets her first dismissal as the wicketkeeper. Japan's backup wicketkeeper for the East Asia Cup. Let's see, it looks like Hinase Goto coming in. She will, of course, be on strike. And has just 3 deliveries to try and make an impact. Krimiota again. That's a pretty good shot. First up. Just punched down the ground for a single. Left-hander's back on strike. Continues to play havoc with the fields. Given the amount of wides they've bowled and given the left-right hand partnership for virtually the entire innings, let's say well done to the captain for actually managing to keep this time of this innings not too far behind. Chandel now will be looking for a couple of boundaries to see if she can bring up her own half-century. That's driven pretty well. It's beaten the fielder. And it has gone for 4. So, she comes into the last ball. It's a pretty good shot, that. Driven hard through mid-off. Fielder will be a little bit frustrated not to have cut that off. Chandel goes to 47 from 52 deliveries. If she can find another boundary, I'm sure she'll be raising her bat. Krimiota looking to keep the Pandas below 140, 138 for 2. That last partnership, of course, 125 between Oda and Chandel. Driven straight back at the bowler. They will scamper through for a single. No, they won't. Cut off. Elliot Chandel's run out of the final ball. And the score will end 138 for 3. Looks pretty imposing, I'd say. Krimiota misfielded it, but fielder coming in was able to get the run out. That fielder was Ayumi Doi. One of the girls on debut today, playing her first J-BASH game. So 138 for 3. Pandas take their leave. An innings dominated by Erika Oda and Ahilia Chandel, who scored over 100 runs between them. Half century for Oda, 47 for Chandel. We'll be back in about 10 minutes when the innings resumes. Join us then. Okay, players back out in the middle. Haruna Iwasaki is on strike. Nahilia Chandel, fresh from having batted virtually the whole innings. She's straight out there with the new ball. Wraps Haruna Iwasaki on the pads first up, but I suspect that one pitched outside leg stump. Having a chat with the umpire, just making sure she's clear. Mai Yanagida at the non-striker's end. Iwasaki has excelled in domestic cricket over the last couple of years. Fast-scoring batter. Likes to find the boundary. Nahilia Chandel backing herself. All the fielders inside the circle to begin with. No one outside. So looking to put the pressure on, and Iwasaki will, I suspect, look to try and find the boundary options. And she does indeed. Pulled. That will be a couple of bounces and over the rope. Can't drop short to the former softball player. So Chandel just immediately changing the field. Gates open, horses bolting. There's a fielder back where the ball just went. Deep square leg. Iwasaki having a go, looking at the offside this time, but beaten, and the ball flies through. Interesting character, Nahilia Chandel. She's got the breakthrough. So, caught and bowled. Doesn't need to worry about umpire decisions on that one. And the danger batter for the Pelicans is gone early. Ball just held up on her. Didn't really commit fully to the shot. Popped it straight back to Chandel. So a wicket down. And the Pandas are feeling pretty good about life at the moment. No, just like in the first innings, it's going to be a left-hand, right-hand partnership. Kurumi Ota has been sent in at the top of the order. Interesting, plenty of experience out there now, Yanagida and Ota. Coach Bebe Miyagi has always been a big believer in Kurumi Ota's ability with the bat. Long time away from the game though. We'll be facing a bowler who's got a tail up after some runs in the middle. And Kari Nishimura behind the stumps, feeling pretty vocal. So it's a good over, just the boundary from it and the wicket. So dream start for the Pandas, and the Pelicans got a bit of work to do. Looks like Elena Kasuda-Nairn is going to take the new ball from the other end. Sure she would have liked to have the bat today, but didn't get the opportunity to do that. This will be her first game, in fact both of these players, Chandel and Nairn, first game at the SICG. trained here a few times, but usually played down at the Nagasawa ground, as I mentioned earlier in the first innings. Nagasawa, of course, is a rectangular field. Elena Kasudanen went to tour with Cricket Without Borders. Went to Fiji last year. She has also been named in the 14 to travel out to China next week in line for her debut. Bowling at the player who will be her international captain. Starts with dot. Oh, just tempting her outside the off stump. Got a bit of bounce there. It's Panda's opening pair. Got a bit of height. Just extracting a bit of life from this pitch. And that early wicket, of course, just heaps a bit of extra pressure on the captain's shoulders. Maya Nagida needs to play a natural game, though. Again, super aggressive field. No one outside the circle. If you're Maya Nagida, you'll be looking at these boundary options, I think. I'll just slip down leg side, first wide of the innings. Elena Kasudanen has a brother as well. He was for a couple of seasons in the Japan Academy squad. And there you go. Find the gap, find the boundary. It's a good shot from Yanagida. Cut through points, 4 runs. With no one out. If you hit the gap, it's going to race away. Outfield's pretty slick out here today. So Yanagida is off the mark. Pelicans dealing in boundaries so far. But yeah, Jake Masayoshi Kasudanen was in the Japan Academy squad for a couple of years, but as I understand it, committed water rugby. Gun fly half, I'm told. Keep an eye out. See if he ends up playing for Japan in that sport instead. And she looked to go over the top. Oh, goodness me. Well, she somehow managed to find a gap inside the circle between 2 fielders. Bit of a life for Yanagida. Just, well, not so much a life, but just a bit of luck. And Karumi Ota now, the lefty, back on strike for the last ball of the over. If you're just joining us, don't forget that you can comment in the YouTube comments box. Put in any questions about the state of the women's game in Japan. I'll do my best to answer them. Been fairly quiet in there so far in the first innings. Don't forget to hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make sure you don't miss any of the action. There's plenty of live cricket being shown on the JCA YouTube channel this season. And don't forget to follow us on socials. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just do your search for Japan Cricket and we'll pop up. Always keen to engage with our fans and followers wherever they are around the world. So 10 for 1 after 2. 6 from that second over. The boundary in each over so far. Chandel to continue. Field is reverted back. Oh, no. Just as I say that, square leg drops to the boundary. Yanagida less likely to pull than Iwasaki was. More likely to drive, I would say. Oh no, they do have Well, point is in a slightly unorthodox position, halfway between the 30-yard circle and the boundary. Chandal just losing her line. Giving up a wide. Well, that point has now come into the circle. So it is just the one player out. And perhaps she just gone for a little bit of a wonder. These yellow shirts with the white numbers makes it very difficult to read at the best of times. A lot of the girls with long hair covering the numbers as well. So forgive me if I'm not so hot on catching the players' identities when they're in action in the field. Easier when they were batting. Half an appeal there, but again, I think there's a bit of bat in that and probably pitching outside leg stump as well. So the Pelicans will be pretty keen to get a good power play here and try and keep this run rate under control. It's already up to 7 1/4 and over. Games can get away from you fairly quickly if you're not careful. Oh, well, looks like a strangle down the leg side. The peel went up. I wonder, let's have another look at this. Well, bat was away from the body. Can't tell if there was a noise. Would have been the thinnest of brushes if there was. I do wonder, Chandal had an appeal turned down in her very first ball of the innings. Had a few words with the umpire, and when she went up again, he was given that pretty quickly. Have to chat with Maya Yanagida afterwards and see if she got anything on that. So, 2 left-handers at the crease now. Bit of a surprise call. Looks like they've sent Ika Canada in up the order. Well, she only bats one way. Immediately, fielder drops to deep mid-wicket. I have a feeling if you're going to bat Ika Canada, you bat her at the top of the order. She will swing at everything. Unorthodox style, technique. Hasn't brought her a lot of runs in recent times. Of course, when the J-BASH first launched, she was one of the stars, batting in a much more orthodox fashion, made a 80-odd off 40 deliveries, and looked like she had the world at her feet. As you can see now, technique is somewhat unorthodox. And it's a big swing and a miss. Oh yeah, every time I see her bat, she seems to have changed her technique slightly. The bat is now almost directly above her head. It used to be out at 45 degrees. Higher back lift than anyone I've ever seen before. I suspect Elia Chandal will be looking to spear these in at her toes. Well, just lost a line leg side, and it's enabled Canada to get an inside edge on that, away for 4. Fine leg up in the circle, so beat the fielder, and you'll get the boundary. I didn't get hold of that, but just enough to plop over the bowler's head and not enough bat on net to carry to the fielders. End of the over. Another wicket from it. 6 runs and 16 for 2. The Pelicans after 3 overs. So Canada will attack and she will keep the strike. She will look to score off every ball. And if she can get a few away, then that might just help that required run rate. Midday bells are ringing. Through the Nan to continue. It's a style that can be quite off-putting to the bowlers. Through the Nan probably hasn't bowled anyone quite like that before. It's a nice shape for a right-hander, that delivery. Just swinging away down leg side. Giving an extra to the Pelicans. Choosing to come around the wicket, I think that's a sensible move. To angle the ball into the stumps. It will move into the arc of Canada. But if you can bowl it full and straight, I think you're in the game here as a bowler. Canada, of course, has a terrific eye. Hand-eye coordination is basically what she's relying on when she bats now. Well, change of angle. Hasn't led to a different result. Susan then just drifting down leg side again. Questions around the players to watch in the Japan women's game. That's a heave and a miss from Canada. Yeah, well, Hillier Chandel, as you've already seen, has made runs. Taken a couple of wickets with the ball. Still relatively new to the Japan cricket scene, having only come over and played domestic cricket last year for the first time. Was halfway through talking about her background when she took that first wicket. Oh, just past the stumps. So Hillier, Japanese mother, Indian father, living in Australia. Kind of symbolises the global appeal of cricket these days. So Hillier is certainly an upcoming star. Hopefully see her getting a chance in one of those leagues, a fair break or something else that might happen in due course. Akari Nishimura went to fair break this year, of course. Got a hand injury in the first week and was unable to play a game, which was disappointing for her, but she certainly came back feeling like she'd learnt a lot from the experience, just being around professional cricketers. Erica Otter's been around a long time. Hits a long ball. Half an appeal there, but nothing doing. But those players certainly have been around and made a name for themselves already with their performances. In terms of the younger players, I think Hinase Goto is one who's clearly got a lot of talent. She's still very young and very raw. She's moved from Kansai up to Kanto this year to go to Ten University, and hopefully that will enable her cricket to just kick on a level. She's, again, tremendous hand-eye coordination. Didn't get much of a bat today, unfortunately, but by being in Kanto and living in Tokyo, she'll get a bit more access to the coaches and hopefully be able to continue working on her game. Could well be someone to keep an eye on in the future. A few young cricketers around as well, actually. I won't name them because they're still early teenagers, but there's a couple of other girls living overseas that we're quite excited about. Make sure you watch the Women's Japan Premier League in July. 15th, 16th, 17th of July, you might see a few of those players. A couple of them relatives of players in the Japan men's under 19 squad, which will be named very, very soon for the World Cup qualifier in Darwin next month. Yeah, plenty of good players around. Just looking to really increase the depth and talent in Japan. There's always been sort of 25, 30 good cricketers. And she's banging that out to the boundary, Aika Canada. So again, hand-eye coordination. When she gets it right, she can send it to the boundary pretty well. Plenty of talent. Committed to playing her own style. Her goal is to hit a 6 every ball. Faced 8 balls so far, hasn't hit one yet, but she does have a couple of boundaries. That one certainly hit more cleanly than the first. Didn't go too well with the ball today, just tries to bowl a bit too quickly, I think, and sprays it around a little bit. But she's, like I said, got plenty of talent. Kurumi Ota at the other end. It looks like we might get a first bowl for Nonoha Yasumoto. Now, Nonoha is a player also from Kansai, from the Uenomiya school. Really impressed in the trials this year. Still very raw, very young. But bowled good, accurate left arm seam. Bowled well enough to make it into the 14 for the East Asia Cup. Oh, no ball's been called there. I wonder if that's for overstepping. Didn't look like it was. Looked fine from where I am, but I'm a long way away. So a free hit for Kurumi Ota. Just the one fielder out. Can't change the field, of course. Same batter on strike. And Ota has looked to smear that over the offside. First shot of real aggression from her. Hasn't quite middled it, so it'll pull up and they'll come back for 2. So Ota off the mark. Yasumoto again. Just a lot to like about her setup. She needs to work on that run up. And we can probably extract a bit more pace from her bowling. Decent action, good accuracy. It's a nice line to a left-hander. Still just 17 years old. The second left armer in the squad. Something to be excited about. It's been a decent start for the Pelicans despite those early wickets. They've managed to get a few boundaries away. Ooh, just called wide that time. Yeah, just about. Just drifting over the wide lines. Ooh. And again, just beating the bat. Swinging away from the left-hander. Left arm around to a left-handed batter is an interesting way to go about it. And that's in the air, and that will be caught. Nonoha Yasumoto has a first wicket in the J-BASH. Swinging away. Ota leaning into the shot. Hit it straight to the fielder. I think that was Ayumi Fujikawa who's taking the catch. I'll have to get that confirmed. No, it can't be. She played on the other team. Let's try and pick up who that was. Safe hands, though. right at point. New batter comes sprinting out to the wicket. So a nice moment that for Nonoha Yasumoto. Now as the right-hander comes in, she's going to come around come over the wicket. So interesting tactics from the Kansai player. Haven't been able to confirm the new batter yet. I suspect it's Seikasumi, but oh no, Kyo Fujikawa has come in. Well, that is a surprise. Not quite sure what the thinking is there. So a good over in the end. A couple of extras in there, but the wicket more than makes up for that. So 29 for 3 at 5 overs. The wicket's the problem really for the Pelicans. Run rate is okay. A little behind where they need to be. And that might be problems for them later. Full toss. Srinali Renard's into the attack. Srinali has switched from seam bowling to off spin this year. This will be her first time bowling it in a match. Plenty to like about the way she sets up. Just lost that one, a low full toss, and for Canada, she will delight in those. Another full toss. That time just a single. Brings Fujikawa back on strike. A couple of spinners facing off against each other. Looks to run that down into the offside, but straight to the fielder. No run. just turned around the corner. There's a shout for a run out, and that looks pretty good. Well, it's landed in a heap at the striker's end. Kyo Fujikawa will be sent on her way. Coming back for the second, she does get 1 to her name. Well, it was her call, running to the danger end. So Hinase Goto with the throw. Pelicans lose their 4th wicket. So trouble for the batting team. Well, just having a look. It does look like Kasumi has come out now. Bat at number 6. First one just drifting down the leg side. So that's the end of the power play. 35 for 4 is a reasonable effort. Well, the runs are anyway. The wickets will be a problem, I think. I'm not sure how deep this team bats. Nonoha Yasumoto will continue. She remains around the wicket to the left-hander. Half an appeal. I'm not entirely sure the keeper grabbed that. Had a couple of goes at it. No, just spilt out. She dived forward. Might have been a chance. Single for Canada. She's 16 off 12 now. Kasumi, another who's off to China for the East Asia Cup. Her first tour, first time picked for the national team. Excelled in the Women's League last year. Got plenty of shots, but probably not a lot of game experience, so this will be very valuable for her. Well, with a sharper calling, there might have been a run there. Required rates up at 7.5 and over. All those girls who come from the Sendai University team, plenty of talent. They train a lot, but just don't get to play the matches that the rest of the players do. So that's one of the reasons that this format exists. Give our girls match practice against a higher level than they might face in the Women's League, where they're only going to play 6 or 7 games a season anyway. As anyone knows, the more cricket you play, the better you get at it. So this format very much about trying to give people opportunities. So it's the first over outside of the power play, and nobody is outside the circle again. So Pandas continue to be very aggressive with their field settings. Akari Nishimura behind the stumps, calling the shots. So of course, another Sendai player, so she'll be in the ear, I suspect, of Kasumi at the striker end. Maybe encouraging, maybe not. Who knows? Generally a pretty polite bunch, these girls. And Nonoha Yasumoto has a second wicket. Kasumi doesn't get going. Stump's knocked over. So, the Pelicans are in a lot of trouble now. 5 down. Nonoha Yasumoto showing why she's been picked for the national squad, competing for a place in the best 11. Certainly unorthodox with the way she bowls, but just one run from that over and a wicket. Pandas very much in control now. Pelicans still 103 behind. They've lost half their batters. Srinali Renard continues. I reckon Canada overbalancing a bit there, perhaps lucky not to fall victim to a stumping. 3 out. They know what she's going to try and do. Looks like one's out deep point for a slice that goes aerial. One at long on and one at mid wicket, cow corner. And that's a full toss. That's going to get called for the no ball. So just a bit of an experience for Srinali Renard, as we know. She's first time bowling her off spin in the match. You first switch the bowling spin, it's always possible to just lose that grip. Full toss delivered there, and the new batter, Minami Yoshioka, will have a chance to take on the free hit. Minami made her debut last year in the East Asia Cup. Still learning her trade as a batter. But again, plenty of talent, plenty of drive. Plays a lot of softball. Good hand-eye coordination, good determination to get bat on ball. That's uppish, but safe. Well, if that had hit, could have been trouble, but Yoshioka gets home safely. Srinali Renard, who took that catch earlier in the innings. Nice moment for her. Canada again. Hits the fielder, but misfield allows him through for a single. Just the 6 wides bowled so far by the Pandas. You compare that to the 30-odd wides that were given up by the Pelicans in the bowling innings. It shows a difference between the two teams. It's another full toss, but hit straight to the fielder. Few young players in both these teams. Interesting to see if some more of them get a bowl. We've seen Nonoha Yasumoto have a bowl and do well. So far bowled 2 overs and taken 2 for 5. There's also Ikuho Kakinuma and Palak Gundichar. Project players named in the women's squad for the first time this year. It looks like one of them's going to have a bowl now. are. Difficult for me to see from back here, but number 53. Yep. I like it is. Just lost it on her first delivery. Bit of nerves, I'm sure, playing on the live stream for the first time. Better, second time round. And Yoshioka has her first boundary. Moves her feet well, gets in position and just crashes that through the leg side. As mentioned, she has good hand-eye. Career as a softball player. Still learning the game of cricket. Minami Yoshioka, but another one of these players who really looks like they could have a big impact on the game. And that's just patted into the leg side for a single. So that's good, sensible batting. Hits the boundary and then just gets off strike. Felt like Gundic has a good comeback as well. Just drifting a little bit leg side, but hitting the stumps. That's going to be a no ball. In the air, didn't quite carry. Just a single from it. Singles coming easily enough at the moment. I think they're going to need more than singles in order to get themselves home. 50's up though for the Pelicans. Keeping the run rate under control. Big swing and a miss that time. Delivery I see Ayaka Canada face, I fear a little bit for her back. She's still there though. 19 off 19. A player with as much raw talent as she has. Just wonder how we can get the coaching team to best harness that. As mentioned, left out of the women's squad this year. Prefers to play the game her own way. But if she scores lots of runs and takes lots of wickets, they are the currency for any cricketer. There may yet be a way back for her into the national side. I think the biggest issue is every time we see her bat, her technique changes. So there's no real consistency there. We're not really sure what she's trying to achieve with the bat. She wants to hit every ball for 6, we know that much. Openly stated that. At the moment, she's 19 off 19. Minami Yoshioka is going to be 9 off 8, I believe. That's the scorecard updates. Hinase Goto's into the attack. We talked a little bit about her batting earlier. She does bowl. It's very much her second suit. Well, just hit that one, Canada. That has gone for 6. And that's a good shot. Clean swing. Overlong on for 6. How does Hinase Goto respond to that? We shall see. Similar shot, but straight to the fielder this time. Dragging it from wide outside off stump. Yoshioka is back on strike. And these two just putting on a bit of a partnership. Goto just pulling out in delivery stride. It's going to be a wide down the leg side. Oh, goodness. Well, they've gone for the run. Crazy bit of calling. Wouldn't go anywhere. Canada just went charging down, decided she wanted the run, and Nishimura has thrown it and run her out. So just as this partnership was starting to build, just as Arika Canada was starting to show some power hitting, she'd run herself out with a crazy bit of running, really. Minami Yoshioka allowed her to run. No blame on her. There's a useful breakthrough for the Pandas, just as they needed it. 6 down now, the Pelicans. They're still hanging on in this run chase. Still scoring at 6 and over. But those wickets are tallying up. Run out off a wide. It's just patted into the leg side. No run. Should to confirm in a moment who the new batter is. Ayumi Fujikawa, I'm told. Shirt number 32. Facing her schoolmate. Hinase Goto is, of course, graduated now, but the two players both at school together. Made their debuts together for Japan. In the same tournament, if not in the same game. Hinase Goto and Ayumi Fujikawa, good buddies. And Hinase just showing a little bit of experience with the ball, struggling to find a line and really test the batters, giving a few wides in this over. A bit of an appeal, another scampered single. Running's not been all bad, just that 2 run-outs in this innings though. At least they are being aggressive with the running. So, Ikuho Kakinuma, the other young player that we mentioned, comes into the attack. Decent start on the first delivery. Bowling pretty accurately. Another local player came through the Sano Braves program. Played with a cricket blast, new in the squad this year, and just bowling wicket to wicket is all she needs to do at the moment. If you are up and around the Sano International Cricket Ground, you might see Ikuho working in the tea room from time to time. Be sure to say hello, congratulate her on her selection. Very much a project player, a brother pushing for a place in the under-19 touring side as well. Hirotake has been in the program many years. That's in the air, not going to carry. Moran Kanai manages to get enough on that to prevent the boundary, just a single. Cameraman lost that for a little bit. Wasn't backing the fielder, I don't think, the cameraman. Moran did well, get something behind it. Ikuho having started well, just losing a line a little bit now. And Yumi Fujikawa still looking to get off the mark. 67 at the halfway mark's a decent enough total. The required rate is still 7.25, which is around where it was when the innings started. So the Pelicans have done all right in that regard, but it's the wickets that are hurting them. 2 run-outs definitely hurting them. Better. Again, good running. You know, fair play to them for that. Despite the amount of wickets have gone, they know they need to keep themselves in this game. They know they need to score runs. Singles there though. Minami Yoshioka was on her toes. Probably wants to strike back as well. She's 10 off 12. Ooh. Aggression, wanted to go cross bat. Just drifting away from the leg stump, and that just a little bit of movement just did for Yoshioka. Ended up bottom edging it into her own thigh pad. Well, lofted, and it's just gone past the fielder. Keeps him to 1. So 73 for 6 after 11 overs. Not a ton of batting to come for the Pelicans. Do still feel that 139 is going to be beyond them. Having said that, they've got fighters at the crease. So Ayumi Fujikawa in the East Asia Cup against Hong Kong dragged Japan into a super over. So she's got a bit of guts and fight about her. I'm going to say Goto getting a second over. Perhaps a little bit of a surprise. The first over was something of a struggle. Much better this time. And that's a decent shot. Yoshioka again. Moves her feet well, clears that front leg. And crashes it over mid-wicket. So, 4 runs. And the game remains alive. All credit to the Pelicans. Keeping things going in this game. Wasn't that short. If she missed that, she was in all sorts of trouble. So, it's well played, and that's driven. Pressure on the fielder leads to a misfield. So, another single. It's good batting again. Goto much more in line with where she wants to bowl today in this over. First over gave away quite a few extras this time. Oh, commentator's curse. That'll be signalled wide, I'm sure. And an extra run taken. Brings Yoshioka back on strike, which I think is where she wants to be. 2 balls left in the over, of course. Half an appeal, nothing doing. Kakinuma continues, just lost a line there, down the leg side. First over was okay. It's better. Ayumi Fujikawa's looking for ways to score. Ball wasn't especially short, but she obviously feels the leg side is where she'd like to get her runs. 5-4 field. Pushes that wide the other way. half an appeal. Probably just a bit of excitement from Nishimura as the ball went past the edge of the bat. Ikuho Kakinuma will be all the better for this experience. Palak Gundichar as well, just bowling on the live stream for the first time. Adds a bit of pressure to the players, I'm sure. Talked about this a lot during the Futures League as well. Certainly when I was a youngster growing up, I didn't have to worry about appearing on live streams and could play away from the spotlight. Not that there was much of a spotlight on my playing career. I think these girls will feel a little bit of pressure. Young players, just 15, 16 years old, some of them. And that's short. And that is going to go to the boundary, I think. Oh, your foot's been used. Let's see. Umpire reckons that was okay. She just about got away with that. Hard to tell from here. Couple of runs for Yumi Fujikawa. 3 balls still to go in this over. Ikuho Kakinuma began pretty well. Hasn't quite been able to string a few accurate deliveries together. Coach of the Pandas and coach of the Japan women's team, Ardeen Ruhode, knows Ikuho pretty well, coaching Im Sano. Very much a believer that she's got character to succeed. Very keen on her cricket, which is good. Hopefully she continues to work at it. Plenty of encouragement from her teammates. Last ball of the 13th over coming up. The required rate is just dropped below 7 and over for the first time in this run chase. So, you know, a couple of runs, plenty of extras. You suspect that the Pandas will bring back their frontline bowlers relatively soon. So 7 overs to go. Plenty of bowlers who have overs up their sleeve. Chandaok, Sudanen, Yasumoto all have 2 each. And that is struck pretty firmly. Suspect they'll just take the 1 though. So we do have a change of bowling. Hillier Chandal's changed ends. Interesting she's coming on now. Perhaps looking to try and finish this game off. Stays left arm over. And it's just pushed into the offside. High on the bat. Yoshioka 17 of 22. Gone pretty well, all told. Perhaps thinking a team like this, Minami Yoshioka might be worth an extra place or two in the batting order. Making a case for promotion. Facing the premier bowler now in the Japan women's team. Oh, some bad calling there. And they've got away with it. Ayumi Fujikawa pretty keen to get on strike. Keeper couldn't hold the ball. Struck into the offside, but straight at the fielder. No run. Chandal just one tied over at this stage of the innings, and that required rate will go shooting upwards. You kind of felt the Pandas very much remained on top throughout this innings. Despite the run rate, those wickets have always made an impact, and when the good bowlers come back on, the frontliners, you did feel that the runs would dry up, and that rate would become too difficult to keep up with without any power hitters. A couple of byes for the Pelicans there. Ooh, it's gone past the edge. And that's the over. So just one from it, from the bat. .92 for 6 from 14. With that one strong over, that required rate shoots up to just under 8. Always one of those decisions for a captain. In this position, does Chandal bowl out? Trying to take the game away from the Pelicans? Or do you keep her for that final over? Elena Kasudanen looks like she has the ball back in her hands, so it is both opening bowlers. In the same position, of course. She has bowled 2 overs so far. Just aborting a run-up. Just 2 fielders outside the circle. Still looking to squeeze the batters. Oh, scampered single. And that's up in the air. That's going to go over the top of the fielder. Decent hit, that one, from Yoshioka. Sparing from the fielder, turning around. Trying to get a hand on it. Couldn't quite get there. Couple of runs for Yoshioka. Moves to 20. And again, just dropped into the offside and run. It's pretty good batting. Another run there into the offside. Fujikawa's doing a job at the moment. Pelicans will just be thinking to try and take this game to the last over. And get into that last over, just needing 8 or 9. And your hopes remain alive. That's well bowled. Coming around the wicket to the right-hander. See them there now, just changing that angle up. Don't mind that. Made it a bit difficult for Yoshioka. Hasn't played a lot of cricket. Just the 2 fielders out, so boundary options are there if you can get hold of it. It's well played into the body. Just dead batted. So we'll find out what the captain wants to do now. Does he bowl out his premier bowlers? He, she. Nishimura with the decision to make. Or does she keep them for the death? I think that looks like Chandel taking the ball again. So she's going to bowl her final over. Five overs to go. Good carry for Chandel to push that one. Passes the bat of Fujikawa. Single there. It's well bowled. Chandel keeping it tight, making sure nothing gets away here. This is the kind of overs that really can kill a game off. And gets the reward at the end. Excellent over. Had Ayumi Fujikawa just unable to get the ball away. She looked for the aggressive shot in the end. Couldn't get hold of it. Simple catch for Ruan Kanai, I think that is. Chandel has a 3rd wicket to go with her 47 runs. So Hillier Chandel finishes with 4 overs, 1 maiden, 3 wickets for 11 runs. Oops. Say that again. 4 overs, no maidens, 3 wickets for 12 runs. Single missed in that over. It's just been corrected. 98 for 7. The Pelicans now. 4 overs to go. Elena Kasudanan is going to bowl her last over. It was actually Minami Yoshioka who was dismissed in the end there, not Ayumi Fujikawa. Meg Ogawa, the new batter. Oh. Well, that's done her. And Elena Kasudanan has her first wicket on the SICG. It swung a ton. Just knocked over the off stump. Excellent delivery. Too good for Meg Ogawa. That ball has just gone right past the edge of the bat. Wonderful delivery. Great way to get your first wicket. Pelicans now 8 down. And the decision to bring back the opening bowlers early, bowl them out, seems to be paying off here. That required rate is shot up now to 11 and over almost. Feels like too big an ask at this stage. Suspect that Nonoha Yasumoto will bowl a couple of overs, if required. Suspect she'll take the ball from the far end. Feel there from the bowler. I reckon there's probably a bit of bat in that. Certainly made a woody sound. Chopped into the pads, I think. Not sure it was going to be hitting the stumps anyway. Yumi Oda, the new batter. Hundred up for the Pelicans. 8 wickets down, and Amy Fujikawa continues to battle. She'll keep the strike with a single off last ball of the over. And Elena Kasudanan finishes with 1 for 22 from her 4 overs. Very reasonable effort with the ball. So, 38 needed, 3 overs to get them. 2 wickets in hand. Feels like a big ask at this stage. Someone's just asking about the beige tents. new additions to the ground. I'm not entirely sure how long they'll be here for, probably just this weekend, but possible options as changing rooms for some of the players. We don't have changing rooms at the Sano International Cricket Ground, something that we've long been trying to fix. So we're just trialling those ones for this weekend for the women's teams. Having the team tents over by the main road. Don't generally want people changing in full view of the drivers. Cause an accident. Edge there, behind the wicket, couple of runs. Nonoha Yasumoto it is. Still bowling over the wicket to the right-handers. Around the wicket to the lefties, if there are any to come. Oh, misfield. And that might well run to the boundary. It's a bit of a chase. Oh, just going to get pulled up short. It's well fielded in the end. Half an appeal, but a bit of an ask to get the LBW, I think. Chance of a run out, nothing given. Bit of chaos, a bit of noise out there in the field. Game remains alive. That's the end of another over. Pelicans watching the run rate required skyrocket now. 6 runs from that over, 16 and over needed. These last 2 overs, so it's a tall order. Pandas can be pretty pleased with the way they've gone about things today. That might be Palak Gundicha getting another over. Good to see. See if she can. Oh no, I'm staying corrected. Hinase Goto. 2 pretty expensive overs from Hinase so far. 2 overs for 22. Bowling now Ayaka Oda, new to cricket. She's got away with that one. It's pretty wide. And that's Boulder. So that's a better delivery. Right on the mark. Oda looking to swing it into the leg side, but top of leg stump. So 9 down now, the Pelicans. And the last batter comes to the crease. And I say Goto has a wicket. And Yukino Nakayama, the final batter. 107 for 9. Just deflected down into the leg side. Might come back for 2. Oh, they turned it down. Fujikawa wants to strike. She's 14 not out of 21 deliveries. I think the game has gone now. These two old schoolmates wanting to face off against each other. And that's up in the air. It's going to fall safe, I think. Just safe. Take a single. Urankana couldn't quite get there. Just deflected into the leg side again. The danger of commentating in Southern International Cricket Ground school building means every now and again, with the windows open, these gigantic bugs fly in here. Not quite sure what that was. It just flew past my head. I'm sort of loosely aware it's now lurking behind me. That's a decent shot. Hit into the offside. It's going to run away for 4. Well played, Ayumi Fujikawa. Defiance from the Pelicans. Hefty swing of the bat. Carted over point for 4 runs. Well played. Moves on to 19. $114 for 9. There's plenty of runs on offer today, and this is certainly a different challenge, playing on the turf pitch on a full-size women's ODI ground. Previous J-BASH games have been played down at Nagasawa ground, which, as you know, anyone who's watched before, just the size of a football field, rectangular pitch, very short square boundaries, and I've seen some high scores there. Not so here, not too many drop catches either. I think the fielding's been a little bit better in general over the course of the day. Bowling, of course, still needs some work, just some more practice, really. Spend time refining the techniques, just to cut down on the wides that get bowled. Seen 26 in the second innings compared to 29 in the first, so that does give the score a bit of a bump. Srinali Renard's going to bowl the final over. Game is as good as safe. Srinali still learning that off-spin trade. 2 overs for 11 doesn't make for bad reading. Didn't quite land on that first one. It's hit into the offside. That's going to be a run out, surely. Oh, well. Wild throw. They might actually come back for 2 in the end. Shouldn't have been any. Ended up with 2. So, game's not over. .22 needed from 5 deliveries. Stranger things have happened. Nakayama goes for the single. If it hits, she'd have been in trouble, but scampered back for 1. Fujikawa back on strike. I don't mind Srinali Renard getting an extra over here. Would have liked to see Nonoha Yasumoto bowl her full allocation, but Srinali will get her 3 overs. Best way she's going to learn how to bowl her off spin. And more experience in the middle. Good person to have around the group, Srinali. Been pretty close to selection in the last 2 tournaments. Continues to evolve as a cricketer. Enjoys putting the work in too. They're going to come back. Oh, no. Confusion. They get back. Oh, it could have been run out to both ends. In the end, it's just a single. Nakayama back on strike. Fujikawa moves to 20. Don't forget there's some T10 coming up this afternoon, also on the JCA live stream. We've already seen a 30-ball 100 this morning from Shubham Shukla of the Kawasaki Knight Riders over on ground 2. They will be playing on ground 1 against the men in blue. KKR won their first game against the Quashers relatively easily after posting 148 for 3. Men in blue currently involved in a dogfight with the Tokyo Falcons. Having posted 99 for 9 from their 10, the Falcons are 45 for 1. Got off to a flyer. 3.5 overs gone, so Falcons looking good over there. And that is high, full toss, smacks for 4. Well, umpire's arm has stayed down. No call of a no ball. And it's a nice way for Ayumi Fujikawa to finish the game off. She ends 24 not out from 25 deliveries. Pelicans finish 125 for 9. Ultimately, the Pandas win the game by 13 runs. And we've seen best part of, 270 odd runs today in the J-BASH All-Stars. Very good effort for both teams. Batting their full 20 overs, playing on the turf wicket, which they don't get a chance to do very often. First time in a long while, I'd say. I need to get myself downstairs to present the MVP award. A few good candidates. Erika Oda with 55 from 59 in the first innings. Thought Kyo Fujikawa bowled really well with 4 overs, 1 for 19. Bowling against 2 set batters as Ahilia Chandel made 47 from 53 deliveries in a partnership of 125. With Erika Oda. Ayumi Fujikawa has put in a pretty good stint at the end with Minami Yoshioka, both making 20s. Ahilia Chandel's 3 for 12 though, to go with those 47 runs. Certainly put her in good contention. Honourable mention as well to Nonoha Yasumoto for 2 wickets for 11 runs. So the Pandas get the win. These two teams will meet again later in the year. Please do join us for that. I'll be back in about 40 minutes for some T10 action. See you soon.